It's amazing how just one find can make null and void an entire generation of academic writings, making them obsolete. And some of the finds are so strange that they can completely change the way we look at history. This is Infinity, and that's exactly the kind of finds you're going to hear about today. You see the ruins of Atlit Yam, found at a depth of 39 feet in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Israel. Researchers are convinced that they were lucky enough to find the underwater city that dates back to the Neolithic age. Moreover, it's probably one of the largest underwater settlements ever found. During the research, the ruins of houses and wells, human and animal remains, as well as objects, artifacts, and mysterious structures dating back thousands of years were found in Atlit Yam. But most impressive of all, of course, was this pit, which was something of a ritualistic site. It was surrounded by heavy stones, in the middle of which one was a real spring. Scientists have also found more than 60 places where human remains were buried. But don't think these remains don't mean anything to anyone. The remains have allowed scientists to learn about the earliest cases of tuberculosis. This information could have a profound effect on medicine and its history in general. Animal bones were also found near the settlement. They include bones of wild creatures as well as domesticated animals. This information, in turn, will allow scientists to learn more about the bygone civilization and its way of life. It's likely that they raised animals for food back then. Two teenagers were having fun on their days off from school. They chose magnet fishing as an unusual activity. It's the kind of process in which you try to get something valuable out of the water, not a fish, lost jewelry, coins, old ancient artifacts, or a hand with a watch. It remains a mystery how this object ended up underwater in the first place. Maybe it's the hand of a mystical creature, or the watch has some kind of secret history. In any case, the truth about the hand found by teenagers could definitely open the eyes of scientists to what was happening earlier in this area. Whose hand do you think it is? I'm waiting for your guesses on this find in the comments. Well, some are satisfied with a mysterious hand with a watch. Others, older explorers, discover an entire underwater city. It can be seen near Greece. Divers have discovered ancient pottery and immediately suggested that this city was the key to trading both on land and in water. Presumably, the found city of Petri is 1,000 years older than most ancient underwater ruins that have already been discovered. The remote location was the key to saving the city from looting and final destruction. Thanks to the found ceramics and many other artifacts, scientists have been able to begin research into who lived in this area and when they lived there. It's likely that successful work on this subject could lead to a dramatic change in history. River under the sea. Hearing such a phrase, many of you may imagine that the unknown river is below some sea on the map. In general, this reasoning is correct, but now I'm talking about a real river found under the real sea. It happened in the area of the Black Sea. As it turned out, at its bottom there's a whole unexplored ecosystem with its rapids and waterfalls. And no matter how ridiculous it sounds, the fact is that the water in the river is much more salty and therefore denser than the surrounding water in the Black Sea. The high salinity of this water allows it to flow quickly through the sea, thereby creating the river. The river found by men under the sea was also the 6th largest river in the world in terms of the flow of water it carried. As for the find itself, it's definitely put scientists in a difficult position, as the study of the river beneath the sea could be crucial to understanding Earth's oceans as a whole. Such a discovery could potentially help scientists better understand life underwater and the various conditions that allow such phenomena to occur on our planet. So many people have dreamed of Atlantis, of this amazing place hidden from public view. My point is that a place similar to Atlantis has already been discovered. It's called Doggerland, and it's no less interesting. Doggerland is a large piece of land that was submerged more than 8,500 years ago. According to scientists, being above the water level, this area stretched from Scotland to Denmark and was once even inhabited by mammoths. But then, at some point, humans appeared and, as usually happens, ruined everything once and for all. Atlantis number 2 went underwater. When this place was discovered by modern scientists, they gave it the name the real heart of Europe, all because the site was just abnormally large. Although it's not the real Atlantis, this underwater world is also insanely interesting. Don't rush to think that all the cool and decisive discoveries in human history were found only in water. No matter how you look at it, archaeologists have been exploring the land day and night as well. So stay tuned. I'll tell you about the startling land finds. Did you know, for example, that not long ago, in 2017, scientists from Germany informed the world about an amazing find? They managed to get an ancient tooth. It's so ancient that it's dated almost 10 million years ago. The fossil was checked, carefully cleaned, and examined from different sides and angles. It turned out that this tooth is several million years older than all the other teeth found by scientists from around the world. And that only says one thing. It's likely that anthropologists will have to reconsider the theory of human origin, because the tooth has a completely unusual shape and many other unusual aspects. Also, the finding, according to scientists, may confirm the theory that the first humans appeared not in Africa, but in Europe, which will completely overturn the idea of human origins. Mexico too did not stand aside, and relatively recently gave people about 150 different ancient ritual artifacts, which lay untouched in local caves for the past 1,000 years. More precisely, the treasure was found in one of the Balmacu caves on the Yucatan Peninsula. The main part of the finds was vessels made of pottery. On them, there was the image of the ancient local gods. Speaking of locals, they were the ones who first discovered the cave, along with all the artifacts. Nevertheless, the archaeologists who arrived at the site decided to seal the entrance and exit. The reason for this decision is not fully known. The rediscovered Balmacu cave will help shed light on the history of the creation and fall of the ancient city of Chichen Itza. I was there, by the way. It's a great place. This, of course, is not the end of the interesting ancient excavations. There's also something interesting in Peru. There, archaeologists found a whole pile of bodies. In the mid-15th century, 140 people and 200 baby llamas must have said goodbye to their life on this site. According to researchers, this is only possible in the case of a special rite of the Indian people. They said they were trying to appease the gods this way after the long rains and heavy flooding. All of them were representatives of different tribes. That is, they came from different parts of the ancient state. According to archaeologists, they had never encountered anything like this before. The people, together with the llamas, were buried on a low cliff by the ocean in a strictly defined order. In any case, if it was like this, the information will greatly change the scientists' view of the ancient Indian people and their lifestyle. An untouched tomb was found in Egypt in the fall of 2018. According to archaeologists, it belonged to the high priest Watye, and its age exceeds 4,500 years. The high priest's tomb is located near the capital of Egypt and is very beautiful because it's decorated with colored hieroglyphs, statues of pharaohs, and frescoes depicting the late high priest and his family members. Also, the tomb has rather large size. It's 10 feet high and 33 feet long. If researchers manage to decipher all the writings and drawings and find the meanings of the artifacts correctly, it may greatly simplify the study of Egyptian culture as a whole, or even open a whole new perspective on the mighty ancient people. The Behistun inscription. This is the name of something else that scientists have already managed to decipher. This inscription was found by an Englishman at the very end of the 16th century. He was on a mission in Peru and accidentally stumbled upon an ancient artifact, which is a multilingual text. It was carved by order of King Darius the Great. The inscription on the rock recounts the events of 523 to 521 BC. The Terracotta Army. The Terracotta Army is thousands of life-sized ancient clay statues of soldiers, chariots, and even horses. The purpose of this army appears to have been to protect the tomb around which it's built. The site was discovered in 1974, but the discovery is of enormous significance. It's thanks to it that modern scholars have learned much more about the ancient Chinese battles, from weapons and armor to the mechanisms of chariots and command structures. Today, by the way, this place is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And here's another site that's protected by UNESCO. However, it's a temple, and it's a breakthrough in the study of ancient building planning and the capabilities of the people in general. The structure was first described as far back as 1600. However, Europe and the world in general learned about it only in 1861. It was then that the French traveler Henri Mohat quite accidentally stumbled upon the Angkor region ruined objects overgrown with vegetation. In the course of this expedition, people discovered an incredible ancient world, which still amazes with its magnitude and scale. It turned out that people used to be able to build three-level structures with a large number of passages and different staircases. This temple is rightly considered to be the soul of the Khmer people. That's all, guys. Which find impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.